Hi, today we're going to be going over the Java solution for Leetcode 125. Valid palindrome. A phrase is a palindrome if, after converting all uppercase letters into lowercase letters and removing all non-alphanumeric characters, it reads the same forward and backwards. Alphanumeric characters include letters and numbers. Given a string S, return true if it is a palindrome, or false otherwise. So, basically what we have to do is we have to check if we convert this, remove all the spaces, all the punctuation, turn all of the letters into lowercase, then do we get the same word backwards and forward. So in this case you can see that um, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama. If you basically write that down and do that, then you can see that if you spell it out from left to right, you'll get the same spelling if you did it the same way from right to left. So this is a pretty introductory, sort of simple way to introduce the idea of two pointers, since we're just checking if, the first and last letters are the same, if the second and second last letters are the same, if the third and third last characters are the same, and so on, until we basically go down all the way to the center. So, we just set up two pointers, one at the beginning, one at the end, and then we see, okay, are these two pointers, are the letters or characters at these two pointers equal? If they are, then we continue. We could basically increment the left pointer, and then we could decrement the right pointer, and then we could keep checking if we ever come across a case like in here. If we ever come across a case where, for example, you end up with an E and an A, these two are not equal to each other, then we can just say it's not a palindrome. It's not there's no any other trick to it. There is another question where basically you're allowed to like remove a letter or ignore one and see if it's a palindrome there, but this is pretty simple. So what we can do is we could set up our pointers, so our int left and our int right, which is going to equal s dot length minus 1, and then we can make a while loop. So while left is less than right, then we could go through this whole loop. And so we're going to increment our left and decrement our right until eventually they meet in the middle, and in that case, if they're able to basically stay equal to each other until they reach the middle, then we know it's a palindrome. So if it is able to pass this loop, we could just return true. So in this loop, we're just going to be catching out for any cases where they're not equal to each other. So that's going to be pretty simple. The only difficult part here is that we're going to have to remove all the spaces and punctuations, but that is pretty simple. All we have to do is use the method character dot is letter or digit, s dot char at left. So this will tell us, is it a character or a digit? This is saying if it's false. So this is only triggered if, like, it's not. So in that case, it's a space or a punctuation. So we can do the same thing for the right. And in that case, we can just ignore it. We can just do left plus plus and right minus minus, since we do not care about that. We want to basically trim that all down. After that, we basically know, in this case, that we have reached sort of two valid characters. However, here they could also be uppercase or lowercase, so we just have to convert them both to lowercase. So, we could actually like compare them. So, we can use the method character dot to lowercase of s dot char at left, and we're gonna say, if this is not equal to the character dot to lowercase of s dot char at right, then we know we basically we have a mismatch of characters, and we know it's not a palindrome, so we could just return false in that case. So one more thing, we have to also continue after this, sense, we could see this example right here. Let's say the left is on this pointer right now. It sees it's not a letter or digit, so it'll do left plus plus. And if we didn't have that continue, it would still trigger the same thing for the right if it was that case. But then it would also look through this if statement and then see that, okay, now we're just comparing a space, and it sees that, it's not equal to the letter that right has. So that's why if we continue, it'll basically go skip all these and then trigger it again to see, okay, is it still not a character, a valid character? And it sees that it's not, it's a space, so it'll increment it again. So that's what we want to do. And also at the end, we want to do right minus minus and left plus plus. So these are the case where we do find valid characters. So, you know, this isn't triggered. And then we see that this isn't also triggered, so they are valid, and then we can close the gap again. So that should be it. Let's see if it works. Okay, great, and let's submit it. There we go. So that was valid palindrome.